late, but there's lots and lots to get into today. Ten Hag wants Vlahovic, obviously is on the thumbnail and the title, so it's very exciting, guys. Look, Vlahovic is someone who has been highly linked with us for not just us, but a Premier League move for quite a while. But yeah, that is the main topic of or topical story, transfer related story we're going to get into today. But there's lots of other news as well. The possibility of Diogo Costa, the Porto goalkeeper. He's obviously been given a new contract, how that kind of affects the possible Manchester United links. A possible move on loan for Zidane Iqbal, also to Middlesbrough. Obviously, Michael Carrick has just been appointed their manager there. A little bit of news on Aaron Wan-Bissaka and the possibility of him rejoining Crystal Palace on loan. Interesting one there. And obviously a little bit about Cody Gakpo. And we're going to touch on Benjamin Sesko once again. So, yeah, I'm excited. Hello, welcome in, everybody. Appreciate the warm welcome. Appreciate the warm welcome. But also towards the end of the show, for about 10 or 15 minutes towards the end, there is going to be a little Q&A where you guys can get your questions in. What kind of striker you prefer? Which striker should Ten Hag sign? Whether you prefer Sesko, Vlahovic, or whether you want to go for someone completely different. It's completely obviously up to you guys, but it'll be towards the end, the last 10, 15 minutes of the show. But a little bit different today. We're not going to be able to bring tweets, unfortunately, up on screen, but I can still read them out to you. So there's a little bit here. Let me just get this up quick on Vlahovic. And I want to, we basically, the start of the show is going to be around this guy, and he's an exciting young talent. He's only 22. Very, very young player. Obviously joined Juventus last season, I want to say, 21-22 season. His contract does end in 2026. And we can delve into some stats because I actually did that in one of the previous shows. And you guys seem to like kind of delving into some stats and having a little topical debate about that. So we'll go into a little bit of stats this season with Vlahovic in comparison to Rashford and Ronaldo and kind of what I think about the possibility of Vlahovic being a Manchester United player, whether it's, I don't see it being a January possibility in my opinion, but I mean, look, never say never. Manchester United do like to throw a spanner in the works when it comes to various transfer negotiations and transfer signings, etc. So I think, look, a little bit about Vlahovic. As I say, he's 22. He's a very good player. He is almost, I'd compare him to the old Ten Hag Ajax squad where they had Sebastian Haller. He's very much of that ilk of player, if that makes sense. He's a big, strong centre forward. And what's kind of difficult when you look at, and what I found out, I'm doing a little bit about stat research this morning, is it's very difficult to look at stats when you're comparing, these big centre forwards that basically what you want from them is just goals. Everything else doesn't really matter in terms of, XG, assists, XA, everything like that. It's very hard to look at and compare because it's not as pleasing on the eye. And I can actually tell you some stats actually just here 1 second. So Vlahovic this season has scored 8 goals. Obviously comparing that to Rashford and Ronaldo. Rashford scored 7, Ronaldo has scored 3. And I believe I don't want to rival the Ronaldo fan club here, but Ronaldo's XG is actually nearly like 8, and he's only scored 3 goals. So it's not great. I'll be honest with you, it's not brilliant. But I don't want to talk about Ronaldo today. In my opinion, I don't. But yeah, he's young, he's big, he's strong. As I say, he is a Haller type player. And I've seen a lot of comments actually saying this, he will be extremely expensive. Mark saying there 8 goals in how many games? I believe he's played 17 games this season. He has played 17 games, 8 goals, non-penalty goals being 7. So he has scored 1 penalty and he's had an XG of 8.76. So he's not kind of having a better output than his XG. His expected goals is 8.76 and he scored 8 goals. So it's near enough, kind of where it's supposed to be, in my opinion. So, yeah, look, he's someone that Arsenal were linked with last season or the season before. Obviously, before he did get the move to Juventus, and Arsenal obviously then kind of moved their attentions onto, I think it was actually Alexander Isak, and then obviously Gabriel Jesus. So, What do you guys think about the possibility of Vlahovic? I think he's look. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a very different striker, and I think the way that the striker position is kind of evolving. Obviously, you're seeing Erling Haaland in the Premier League now, and look, a lot of people complain about what he offers other than goals for this Manchester City team. And realistically, it doesn't actually matter if he's going to score that many goals straight away. Like whatever else he offers, whether he has 10 touches a game, scores 2 goals, who cares? If he's scoring every single game, even if it's every other game, it's still a great output for him. And you know, these big strikers, and you can almost compare, not necessarily in the type of player, because Sesko is obviously still got a long way to go before he can be compared to Haaland. But you know, same league they were obviously in, the Austrian type of league, I think it was. And yeah, I mean, look, we can touch on Sesko a little bit later, but I mean, look, his stats this season this is Vlahovic I'm talking about. His stats this season are very similar when you look at comparing him to Ronaldo and Rashford. Ultimately, as I say, it is very hard to kind of pick out the stats which kind of make him look good, because ultimately, this is almost a bad thing on Rashford, because Rashford, when you look at the stats, Rashford's output is actually really good. His stats can be made to look really good. His XG, Rashford's XG is good. Rashford's sort of successful attacking actions per 90 is good. But we all know that he can't really play a number 9, and he is much better out on that left-hand side, right? We saw him play yesterday on the right-hand side, and he's just not the same. He's not the same monster. He's not the same. I don't know what it is, and it shouldn't be like that. But he just isn't. He isn't the same player when he plays out on that right side. And yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to call, but Luke says here, break the bank for Osimhen. Tall, good in the air, strong, presses for 90 minutes. He'd be the one to bring United back. He was interested in joining United as well, but didn't want to take Igalo's place. Really interesting. Igalo, what a boy he was. I actually did like Igalo, not for Manchester United. He just seemed like a lovely man. But I mean, that's another player, obviously, that you know we could possibly talk about in the Q&A towards the end. But Osimhen is a very good player, but this morning's about Vlahovic and Sesko, and we can actually compare a little bit of the stats after I've read this out about Sesko. And I believe this is coming in from the Telegraph, I think. So Manchester United preparing for life without Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, I think that's something that needs to be done, or needed to be done, you know, the summer just gone. By prioritizing a striker as their next major first-team signing, with Slovenian striker Benjamin Sesko high on their list of long-term targets. Now, I'm not actually too sure about Sesko's future. I'm pretty sure because he's at RB Salzburg. Did they not agree some sort of deal with RB Leipzig where he'd be moving to them next summer? With like maybe a release clause in place. I'm not too sure, but I believe they didn't actually get him for that much money. But I think again, it's an exciting player. I think he'd be very good for United. Again, it's the big, tall, sort of clunky striker, I'd like to say, and that is maybe where the striker position is evolving to. And yeah, he's still on loan at Salzburg. Okay, there you go. They agreed a deal. Yeah, but I mean, obviously they've agreed a deal, but it doesn't really stop. Anything can go in the transfer market. You saw, who was it, the Southampton centre mid who only just moved there, and then Chelsea put in like a 40 million bid. He could have moved to 2 different clubs in the same summer. But yeah, I mean, look, Sesko is a hot topic for debate across Europe and obviously the fan base of Manchester United. And I think a lot of people are excited about him. Again, he's even younger. He's 19. He's younger than Vlahovic, who's 22. Again, Eastern European, a player who did actually play against Liverpool, I believe. Is it this Champions League or last Champions League? I'm not too sure, but he's a exciting player. I believe he did score against them, and he's again, it's just exciting, right? Look, again, I said I don't want to talk about Ronaldo, and I don't really want to delve too much into it, but you can tell recently he's just not the guy to play up front for us in this system, right? I'm not saying that he can't score loads of goals and he can't be that that brilliant striker that we've always seen him as, or not even always a striker, but brilliant goal scorer that we've always seen him as. He's just not going to work in the system. And the quicker that Martial gets back fit, the better, in my opinion. That obviously helps out Rashford to put out on the left. And then hopefully when Anthony's back, he can go out on the right as well. Muzi saying there, we need Welbeck back. Let's go. Welbeck was actually named in like the 55-man England squad for the World Cup. Crazy. Ricky will be loving that. But yeah, look, Vlahovic and Sesko are very, very good players. And look, you can obviously leave a comment and let me know what your guys' thoughts are in terms of who you'd actually prefer. But for me, it's a very, very tough call. Sesko is maybe a lot of people's option, I'd say, maybe because he's that little bit younger, that little bit more exciting. But for me, Vlahovic is obviously kind of scoring goals in the Serie A for Juventus. He was scoring goals as well in the Serie A for Fiorentina. Can he do it in the Premier League? But again, I'm excited to see the possibility. And it's pretty clear that Ten Hag is wanting to bring in a big striker for the link-up play. Not a slow striker, not a Chris Wood type guy, but a quick, mobile, tall, strong guy who is going to score goals for Manchester United. And it's pretty clear that he is going. Even if it isn't one of these guys, look, I think link-up play and holding the ball up and having the whole team work as a cohesive unit, and everyone, it plays a part in how the team works is very important. Tom Grant, morning, Charlie. How they both doing this season? In terms of Sesko and Vlahovic, we can have a look. Here we go. So Sesko has played 28 games this season so far. A fair few amount. He scored 9 goals, all from open play. We can touch on Vlahovic, who's played 17 games, so 11 less games, and scored 8 goals, 7 of those being from open play, 1 from the penalty spot. Sesko has an XG of 9.26. So again, he is, in comparison to his goals, he's keeping up with his XG, and so is Vlahovic, obviously scoring 8 goals and 8.76 XG. What else can I tell you? Shots per 90, Sesko is averaging about 3.25, whereas Vlahovic is averaging 2.75. They both have 2 assists for the season so far. And as I said, look, these stats aren't going to be flattering because these guys are just known for scoring goals, right? We can look at goal conversion. Sesko's is 13.6%, and Vlahovic is 17%. So, I mean, look, not much in comparison, but this one's interesting. Successful dribbles, Sesko is just shy of 40%. And Vlahovic is just shy of 70%. So Vlahovic being a more prolific dribbler there, which is I don't know, something you wouldn't really expect. Look, when when you're stereotypically long-limbed and stuff, you're not stereotypically known for being very good at dribbling. Mark saying, "Pop the stats on screen." We're unfortunately having to use a different kind of software for this stream, so I won't be able to put the stats up on screen. But it's something that we can look at doing in the future. Mark, apologies. Tom says both evenly matched with Sesko taking it for me. Yeah, I mean, look, it's very hard when you're comparing stats like this to pick out a clear winner. We can actually let's look at maybe their kind of defensive stats and see if there's anything outlying in that direction. But yeah, I mean, look, it says here as well, Sesko is seen as a player with huge potential and is following in the same path as Erling Haaland, who was at the Austrian Bundesliga club before moving to Borussia Dortmund and Manchester City. As I mentioned, again, it's just it's the unknown, I think, a little bit with Sesko for me. I think it is the unknown. We're yet to see his full, potential, but we've seen what he can offer, and it's very, very exciting. Here we go. We can look at successful defensive actions per 90. Sesko's 3.4, Vlahovic is 2.11. Defensive duels per 90, Sesko winning as well, 3.5. Vlahovic under 2. Aerial duels 1. Sesko's winning over 50%. Vlahovic is winning less than 40%. It's looking like Sesko's actually a lot better defensively as a defensive striker. Successful defensive actions 3.4. Vlahovic is 2.11. Yep, said that one. Fouls. Sesko is fouling a lot more, nearly 2. Yeah, look, guys, it's to round off. They are very, very, very even. Sam's saying they're looking at defensive stats for strikers. You defend from the front, lad. That's what you do. Your attack is your first line of your defense. You got to look at all these things. They're all factors. They're all factors. But yeah, they're ultimately, I think they're not necessarily similar players in maybe how they'll play, but they're similar in terms of they're tall, they're big, strong. A very different type of striker than what we've had as of recent times, in my opinion. That's kind of what I think. Glennie says, I think Vlahovic has the record for most goals in a Serie A season. Interesting. That's he did score. I'm guessing that's for Fiorentina because he hasn't scored too many for Juventus, I don't think, over the course of him being there. But he hasn't even played that many games, I don't think. But we can move on a little bit now and touch on Zidane Iqbal, with the possibility of him actually moving to Middlesbrough on loan in January. As I said at the top of the show, Michael Carrick is Middlesbrough manager. I don't actually know if he has played or managed a game for them yet. I'm going to say he has. He must have. But yeah, what do we think on Zidane Iqbal? In my opinion, if he's not going to, I'd actually play him against Villa in the Cup on Thursday. I think I'd give him a shout. I'd play him. I mean, I'd just give him a chance, see what he's about, see if he can. You know, he played in the preseason tour, and a lot of people said that he should be getting a chance in the first team come the season. So it's a good opportunity for him. But regardless, if he can go out on loan, again, it's opportunities. You know, we've got a fair few amount of players out on loan this season. You know, you look at Amad Diallo's on loan at Sunderland. I think a move to Middlesbrough in the Championship would be a good move for him. It's, you know, the Championship is a ruthless league. Games literally every bloody 3 days, I think it is, kind of like the Premier League at the minute, but that's how the Championship always is, obviously. It's a very tough league, and it's what young players need, ultimately, the chance to go and express themselves. They need to be in that first team environment. They need to be in the change room. They need to experience different experiences, and I think it would be a good opportunity. But again, can we afford to be loaning these young players out when our squad depth is very, very thin, and you're seeing a lot of young players on the bench for Manchester United, right? They're not necessarily coming on, but they are being utilized, and you know, January needs to be another opportunity. Well, it definitely is an opportunity. We need to capitalize on the opportunity of bringing in players in January 100%, and we can touch on a little bit about Cody Gakpo later on. But yeah, what do you guys think? I think it would be a good move for him. As I say, experience is key. Hopefully he's going to be a big name for Manchester United in the future. But it's also said that Manchester United is set to allow Aaron Wan-Bissaka to rejoin Crystal Palace on loan. Obviously this is going to be in January, I'm saying. In my opinion, this player's time at United is coming to an end. I'm not sure what you guys think. For me, I can't lie to you. When we first signed him, I was excited. He's had, let's not get it twisted, he's had some very good games for Manchester United defensively. There's a lot of times where Manchester United fans, along with myself, have said, you know, he's pocketed this player, he's pocketed that player. But in terms of, again, we're talking about a system here. We're talking about cogs intertwining together and moving and working as a team. And Wan-Bissaka, I just don't think can do anywhere near the same amount as what Dalot can do, ultimately. Dalot has been a shining light for Manchester United so far this season. It's just a shame that Wan-Bissaka can't offer a half of what Dalot can. Red Devil saying there, Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs to be sold. It's just, I mean, I agree. it's just how much can we actually get for this player now? I believe there was talks and offers that he could have possibly moved on in the summer, but without basically we needed to sell him and bring someone in, and there wasn't enough time. I just it's a sad situation again. It's another failed Ollie signing, really, isn't it? Another failed Ollie signing that just hasn't worked out. And Chunky Chunks is saying there, horses for courses, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is insane at the right club. And again, look, a lot of players are going to be the same. A lot of players along, kind of all different types and walks of football life thrive under various different managers and at different clubs. I just think I don't know if Wan-Bissaka, look, he's been out injured for a long time. But even so, even if he wasn't injured, I don't think he would have been involved. But it'll be interesting. Maybe he gets a run out on Thursday in the cup. I think if he doesn't, I think that could be a big statement as to what Ten Hag thinks about his future at Manchester United. And I think the January is his time. It's calling that it's calling that he is going to be moved on. And you guys might be right in the sense that he could thrive somewhere else. But, Manchester United are, or Ten Hag's Manchester United are a team that want to play, possession, attacking football. And Wan-Bissaka, I just don't think can be a part of that. He was obviously brought in to help the back line and be a very defensive player. And it's just unfortunately not worked out for him. And I do think it is time to move on, in my opinion. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. But a little bit on Porto's goalkeeper, Diogo Costa. So, you know what? We've apparently scouted him at least 6 times this season. Now, if that doesn't scream, we want to buy a new goalkeeper, or we want to buy Diogo Costa, or we're even interested in Diogo Costa, it is, it's great. It's great. But I think, look, he's just been given a new contract. With a release clause of, I think, around 75 million euros. So what's that going to be? About 65 million pounds. They've obviously done that because they know that he is going to move. And I'm going to say, because it baffled me a little bit when the contract was signed. It baffled me a little bit because it's like, okay, a lot of players, a lot of teams are interested in you. So why wouldn't you, try and get out? But I guess he's obviously got a very good relationship with Porto and he wants to help them out. And I'm guessing him and Porto know that he is good enough, and he's happy there if people don't want to pay that money. But if a team does want to pay that amount of money, then they're obviously getting substantially a large amount, and that will compensate them well enough to go and get another keeper. And look, I've just seen a lot of comments, saying we don't need another keeper. De Gea has been unbelievable as of recent. I don't think he covered himself in too much glory yesterday, but I do agree with you. He has been very, very good. But there will come a time and place where De Gea needs to be replaced. Whether that's next year, whether that's in 2, 3, 4 years. You never know. Ten Hag might think that it's time for De Gea to move on next summer, or not necessarily move on, but not be the number one. And Diogo Costa is a good young goalkeeper. Again, I think he's early 20s. So yeah, it is whether you guys and me a lot kind of aligned do think that we need another goalkeeper or not, or that's a main issue. I don't think it's a main issue at all. We definitely need another midfielder, a right back. We need 2 strikers. There's countless positions, but I just think it's just a position that will need to be sorted out sooner or later, in my opinion. Fred Flintstone, what did De Gea do wrong yesterday? I'm guessing you mean. It's not necessarily what he did wrong. I do think that the free kick that went in, I do think he could have done better in terms of where he's positioned himself. I'm going to say Digne, if he had another 10 tries at it, I don't think he would have scored. But again, that just shows how good of a free kick it is, and we've put ourselves in that position. Don't give the free kick away. and they don't score. But yeah, it's definitely the goalkeeper position. Sooner or later, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's definitely a position we need to either strengthen or replace De Gea sooner or later. I don't think we need to replace De Gea this season. Don't get me wrong. He's been brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant. His distribution has improved. His sweeping has improved. So comments, please chill. I think he is very, very good. And Chunky Chunk's there. I think there's other positions that need addressing before replacing De Gea. Yes, competition is good, but we need a right. No, completely agree with you. Completely agree with you, man. I'm just coming from a devil's advocate. Sooner or later, it's gonna, there's gonna come a time where we do need to replace him. LT Vids saying we have Henderson that can replace De Gea. No, I don't want Henderson anywhere near the club anymore. He should be sold as soon as he's brought back. There should be arrangements now made that so when he doesn't come back, in my opinion. But here we go. Manchester United are still in the race to sign Cody Gakpo, and that is, I think that was in from Fabrizio Romano. It was indeed, yes. Man United are still in the race to sign PSV's Cody Gakpo. Now, this guy, oh my God, he's so exciting. This guy is so sick at football. And you know how cool that is when someone's really good at football. I think he's still got the most goal contributions across Europe's top leagues. More goals and assists combined than Erling Haaland. Again, yes, he's doing it in the Eredivisie, but again, this is a tall, dynamic, long-limbed, lengthy FIFA. Yeah, we're not going there with FIFA, but he's a really good player. It looks like, and I feel like the current season that he's having at the minute is a big. You can look at it two ways. It's either a big come and get me Manchester United or, Real Madrid, Barcelona, whoever it is, or it's a big, this is, big middle finger. This is what you've missed out on type job. Mark saying not too sold on Gakpo. Look, and the Eredivisie is a very tough league. And I think, again, this will come down to price for me. I think that PSV would not, and I think the story actually came out a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago, saying that PSV basically wouldn't be able to turn down, I think it was about 35 million with the financial state they're in. I just don't think, I don't think they'd be able to. I don't think they'll be able to turn it down. Uncle Albert, first time listener from New Mexico. Great job, bro. Appreciate it, Uncle Albert. Appreciate it. I've got a dog called Albert, so that's interesting. But yeah, no, Gakpo is an exciting player. He's very good. He scores all different types of goals. He's not just a tapping merchant. He's not just like a ridiculous goal merchant. He scores such good goals, and he is very, very dynamic. He's quick, strong. Again, a big build type player that Ten Hag is obviously looking to bring in, and he is very, very good. We need another attacking option. Let's be real. I think over the past couple of games we've seen, you don't quite know what you're missing out on, and until it's gone. I think that's the saying, right? And Anthony, we've missed Anthony. In case I missed the end of the video, cheers for today, Charlie. Tom says, no problem, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, buddy. But yeah, we don't quite know what we're missing out on with Anthony. And I think, look, I don't think every performance he's been blistering and been really good, but he's been steady, and I think we've missed him on that right hand side. I think we don't have enough depth, and that's not just across the forward line, that's across the whole squad. And you can tell, when we need someone to come on in a game where we're losing, or not even necessarily losing, you look at the Sociedad game, we're winning and we just need that next goal. Who are you bringing on? It's tough. It's tough. When is the Europa League draw? That is today. Unfortunately, I don't know specific times, but it is today, I believe, which is, it'll be today. I'm guessing it's the Champions League draw as well as the Europa League and the Conference League. I'm going to say they do it all on the same day. Not too sure though, but if you guys want to get your questions in, I'll do a quick 10-minute Q&A after I've just read out this last 12. There you go. The comments will always let you guys know what is going on if I don't. But yeah, I'll just read this next bit out, which you guys are definitely going to be interested in. But while I'm reading it out and kind of giving my thoughts in it, you guys feel free to get your questions in, and yeah, we can have a little debate and talk for the last 10 minutes. But last one coming in here: Manchester United are huge admirers of Inter Milan centre back Milan Skriniar and have been in contact with his representatives in recent weeks to assess the situation. Skriniar's contract expires in the summer. Now, Skriniar, not too sold on him, in my opinion. I do think the centre back that we need to bring in needs to be a quick centre back. Obviously, they need to be capable enough to play in the Premier League, and I do think Skriniar will be capable enough. But he just does remind me of a little bit like Harry Maguire in the sense of he's a big guy. He might be a much better defender, but he's 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 not quick. He's not quick, and we've been linked to him for a long time. A lot's going on in terms of his contract talks. As it said there, his contract does expire very soon. And I think ultimately I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a ploy to obviously get a new contract, a new bumper contract, because I've seen a lot of news recently where the president of Inter's coming out saying, I don't fear blah, blah, blah. We're talking with him, etc., etc. I think it will just be one of those situations where a contract is kind of figured out, and this will all just be water under the bridge, in my opinion. Skriniar is stiff. There you go. Look, it's we don't need another Maguire. Everyone's saying, in my opinion. I mean, look, on the possibility of getting him on a free is cool, but we need a fast centre back, especially with Varane being out. We definitely do miss that pace at the back, 100%. But now we'll move on quickly to the Q&A. We'll bring in Mark's question first here. Mark, Charlie, what are your thoughts on Donny? My thoughts, mate, in all honesty, and I don't want to upset the boat here. He hasn't covered himself in much glory for the past couple of games. I think on last night's forum, I figured out, or I looked up, he's played 56 games for Manchester United over the three-ish seasons that he has been at Manchester United, and in my opinion, he's just been bang average for the most part. He did score on his debut, and he looked quite exciting. But again, is he and I shouldn't really be able to say this, should I? But is he a system player? And by that, I mean he should be able to play in the system, Erik ten Hag's system, because he played in it under Ajax and was successful with it. But again, it comes back to the players that obviously he's got around him. I saw a few comments. I've seen a lot of comments saying that he's a second striker, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. But you can say all this, but he needs to do better, in my opinion. He's not had that run of games and stuff, and I think he's had more managers at Manchester United than goals, actually, and assists. I think in all honesty, and again, look, it's not all down to goals and assists, 100%. But it's just, I don't know. He's a good, useful squad player, in my opinion. But yeah, I think we just missed Bruno Fernandes so much yesterday, and he's no Bruno Fernandes at the end of the day. So my thoughts are, he's just not covering himself in too much glory. That's kind of it. Rainier Hendricks, who would you rather take, Gakpo or De Jong? Now, it's a very tough one to answer, actually, because they're very obviously different players and very different price tags. Gakpo is obviously an attacker and would probably cost 35 million. De Jong being a midfielder and being about 80 million. So they don't really coincide with each other, but if I had to at this current moment, I'd take Gakpo. Yeah, that's my thoughts. EE Edits, what are your thoughts on Max Aarons? Now, I actually did do a little show in comparing, I believe it was last week. So if you've missed it, go back and watch it. It was comparing Bayer Leverkusen's right back Frimpong and obviously Max Aarons, the possibility we've been linked to both of them, and what they can offer, and comparing their stats. And I think, yeah, decent. He's obviously been linked with a move to the Premier League before, but why has no one else come in for him? That's the only thing. Why is no one else? There's 19 other teams in the Premier League, and no one else is going in for him. But again, he feels like he's been around for ages. He's a young right back. He could be utilised, obviously, as the squad player. If Frimpong came in, would he demand to start? Obviously, Dalot playing out of his skin. Whoever comes in as that right back position shouldn't obviously be playing over Dalot. So yeah, it's I mean, look, my thoughts are he's a good player, but it's just a little bit worrying when he's not been linked with kind of anyone else, or he's just kind of seen as maybe meh. Makish saying I'd take Max on the cheap, but that's the thing as well. You've got to factor in price and everything like that as well. So a lot of people saying Max is a no from me. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Thoughts on United sacrificing Europa League for top 4, Charlie? Now this is very, very interesting because again, in the last show, I did talk about the possibility of Manchester United getting top 4, and obviously no one expected us to get top 4 at the start of the season, so why should we be expected to at this current moment in the season? Not saying that we shouldn't be able to, because a lot of fans do think that we should be able to, with the likes of Chelsea's performances, Liverpool obviously slipping away, even Spurs not putting up a very good fight at the minute, and it was just unfortunate that we weren't able to capitalise yesterday on what would have been a good opportunity to, get proper amongst it and catch up some of the and get ahead of some of the losing teams. But yeah, I mean, look, it's a tough call at this point in the season, ultimately, because there's so many games to play and there's so much Europa League to play. So, I mean, look, I'd like to win the Europa League and get top 4 and sack off Carabao Cup. And we don't know who we're going to get in the FA Cup yet. That's not for sack off the Carabao Cup. I just don't know. It's a very tough call at this point in the season. I'd like to get both, but come back and ask me maybe nearer the time. We can see. Savage saying here, if we buy, we get top 4, simple. And look, I don't disagree. I think we definitely need to buy. We need to buy some players in January, 100%, because a lot of teams are going to buy in January, and we don't want to be left behind. Basically, is what I'm saying. It's a rubbish situation to be in want for a better term. Mark saying here, Glazers won't spend. And look, I don't disagree. I don't think we're going to spend in January. There's just something in me. I know Mark says that, he still thinks Manchester United will buy, but I just can't. I hope we do. I really hope we do. Well, I don't want to waste money, but I just really hope we do buy the right player and do buy the right players, I should say, plural. And I just think that, we have to strengthen this squad in January, because especially we're going to be blitzed with injury, and especially after the World Cup, who knows what's going to happen. Zero Blade, Europa League winner, top 4 without any trophy. Interesting. Did you say win the league? Are you drunk? Did I say that? I don't think I said win the league, did I? I'm pretty sure I didn't. Bilal, our team has no depth. The fall off is immense. We need a striker on priority. Not sure how much we can do in January. Look, again, Bilal, I agree with you. The fall off is immense, and it's a rubbish situation to be in. We do need a striker. We also need another midfielder, in my opinion. We need everything. It's crazy, isn't it? Our midfielder's got so much better, yet I still say we need another midfielder. It's crazy. But yeah, that's obviously just how the season can be. Mohamed saying we should buy Enzo Fernandez from Benfica. He's a box-to-box midfielder and exactly what we need physically, and is a ball carrier. Now, Enzo Fernandez is he'll get a move to not the Benfica aren't a big club, but a bigger club. I would say come next summer. These players have written off seasons for the past 10 years. Well, it's hopefully they don't write off this season, for want of a better term. We need to buy players very, very bad. it's terrible. It's terrible. No way Vlahovic will join a club which is struggling to get top 4. Actually, how are saying that? How are Juventus doing in the league? Juventus are struggling to get top 4, lad. They're fifth at the minute. They beat Inter Milan last night, 2-0, I think. But I mean, Juventus are out of the Champions League and are fifth, so they're in exactly the same situation as Manchester United. So, beggars can't be choosers. It's the same thing for De Jong, isn't it? He didn't want to come to Manchester United because of Champions League football, blah blah blah. Now look where you are. Sorry, I don't make the rules. It's just how it's going on. But yeah, we're gonna wrap the show up there, guys. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. It was a really good show. Really appreciated that. And yeah, we'll catch you. I'm not sure if anyone is doing the draw today, but there will be lots of tweets going out for the draw. Obviously, we'll see who Manchester United do get. I'm hoping, in my opinion, I can't lie, for either Bayern, for Barcelona or Ajax. That's who I'm thinking. I can't wait. We shouldn't be scared of any of them. But yeah, appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.